Sadness. Sadness is a big one. We've talked about it a little bit already, but eating your feelings. The issue with this a lot of times is that people understand it. People actually encourage it. In fact, there are food products and brands that promote themselves to ease your sadness. And it's so easy to cry and have pain and have some chocolate or have some ice cream because the good flavor is pleasant. So this is one where it's really really hard to imagine not being able to justify soothing sadness with a pleasurable taste or a pleasurable flavor, especially when other people want to commiserate on this one with you. But this is where you really do have to be honest ahead of time as well of when I am sad, I am going to have to feel sad. There's no rushing through grief or sadness. You have to feel an emotion when it comes. And when you eat in response to sadness, you're delaying dealing with that feeling of sadness. And often we get to adulthood and we realize there's so many episodes of sadness in our whole life that we've never dealt with. For me, when I was 400 pounds, I ate in response to all my emotions. But when I started losing weight, I realized that the biggest one that I was eating in response to was sadness. And when I stopped eating as a response to my emotions, I had to experience all of that sadness from decades gone by in the present because that sadness does not dissipate. You can distract yourself from it, but it doesn't go anywhere until you feel it, until you process it. Now, I don't want to say this to deter you from stopping this process of eating when you're sad. You're like, I don't want to feel all my pain again. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's better to feel the feeling, to ride the wave of the feeling, and to come out of the other side confident in your ability to feel the feeling than to come out of it having numbed it, having added to the problem by putting food in your body that you didn't want to eat, gaining weight, feeling gross, feeling lethargic, making yourself sick, whatever it is. This lesson hit me really hard when I was going through a very difficult time. In fact, whenever this particular circumstance happened, and it started to happen kind of regularly, there was almost a part of me that was excited because it was like, all right, well, that happened, so I'm just going to go get candy and junk food and sit in front of the TV. I found that I was excited to have the excuse to just binge eat and binge eat junk. Until one time it happened and I was about to go get all the junk food and I was like, you know what? No, this person can choose to do this behavior that is causing me stress, but I don't have to choose to hurt myself in response. And that's what happens. If someone breaks up with us, we feel hurt. So the logic here, which I know doesn't necessarily help because this isn't a logical problem, but the logic to apply now, so it applies later, is if someone hurt me, why would I hurt myself more? Why would I kick myself where I'm bleeding by hurting my body with food? That's what we do when we binge eat in response to emotion. So I want you to think about that so that next time you're sad and all of a sudden that idea comes up of, oh, well, I'm going to eat my feelings. Again, ahead of time, play the tape forward. Is eating in response to sadness going to ease the sadness? Or do you want the experience of feeling the feeling? Now, you can ease the sadness. You can, but with something that actually eases the sadness. You can talk to somebody. You can cry it out. It's okay to cry it out. You can get angry, scream, do what you need to do to release the emotion. Go for a walk. Hot tea, something like that you put in your body that soothes your nervous system, something like that actually does help with those emotions. But find something that addresses what you're really feeling versus adding to it and hurting yourself and causing more sadness because of what you have done. This is another reason why emotional eating can be so painful because the logic of it is right here. I'm giving it to you. But in the moment when we realize that we are the person who added insult to injury, we start to really, really feel bad about who we are. So I want to remind you that in your darkest moments, in your saddest days, your greatness is there. And in the past, when you soothed with food, you just didn't know your greatness. You were using the tools that were presented to you, and that made sense. But now that you know your greatness is inside of you, I want you to connect to it and tap into it, especially in your saddest moments. Because the greatness inside of you is just waiting to take over, make the decisions, and ultimately soothe you by saying, I may be sad, I may be hurt, I may have feelings of loss, but my greatness is here. My soul shines bright. I know how to take care of me in ways that actually take care of me. This one can be tough, but again, if you practice it, if you come up with these strategies ahead of time, if you connect with your greatness every day, it's going to be much easier when life hands you a sad, sad moment and you can respond well with you instead of food.